Okay, welcome, Ms. President. Welcome, Ms. President, U.S. Richfield Hamilton, to session number 8 of 2021-2022, the final session of the year. I hope you all enjoyed making your microphones. We will use them later on today. So we've gone through the whole curriculum almost. After today, we'll be so ready. I hope your transformation over the last few sessions has looked a lot like that. Maybe at the end of today, you'll feel a lot like that. Last time, I didn't get to hear your voices. I know Mrs. Gunther and Mrs. Mitchell and Mrs. Cordano all felt like that. Like, we really want to hear more of your voices. We heard a lot of Rosa DeLauro's voice at the last session, which was pretty amazing. I don't know if any of you watched the State of the Union address that President Biden gave this week. Did you see Rosa DeLauro go up and hug him at the end? Did you notice her purple hair? Did you see her?
Yeah.
Yeah? I thought it was pretty cool. Do you find it really neat to recognize people on TV and in public sphere that you've seen that have come and talked to you?
Rosa was there.
Yeah,
For sure.
she was. Today's session is about public speaking. Normally we would add debate onto it, but debate is such a big topic by itself that we're thinking of maybe doing an add-on session about debate and focusing on public speaking today. But then after today, next week, we have our field trip to Hartford. Raise your hand if you're already planning on going. So excited. We have a lot of awesome things planned for that day, and the bus is all ready to pick us up and take us to Hartford. And then the campaign election on the 27th. So it's coming up in just a couple weeks. So speaking of public speaking, have you ever given a speech in front of an audience? Can you raise your hand? A lot of you have already done it. A lot, yeah, amazing. And by the way, on Zoom totally counts. So this is a yes. Yes, thank you. Raise your hand if you'd like to speak in public. That's amazing. Okay, well, we're going to learn from you today then, because clearly if you like it, you feel pretty confident about it. Hmm? Is that true? Yeah. So tell me, what makes a good speech? Elise? If you have your voice. What do you mean by that?
Like, you're not just like listing facts, you're like giving your personality.
If it's personal. Yeah, excellent. That's true. Yeah. Confidence. That makes the speech so much more powerful, right? Excellent. Any other ideas? What makes a speech good? Yep.
Focusing on what the audience wants, like realizing what the audience cares about, so that the audience.
That's so true. You have to know your audience. Is this not working?
There we go. That's better. And do we want another one so that if anybody has something they want to say?
Yes.
Okay.
Anybody want to be a runner?
I could find it.
Here, they're up here.
I'll run.
I have two, actually.
All right. Hello, Maya. You'll be a runner to the right side. Sam. Oh. You're the runner over here. And everybody remembers that, like.
So thanks for reminding me about the tip about keeping your chin close to the microphone. Because clearly, if you're speaking away from the microphone, people can't hear you. And then the speech is instantly boring. So the last one I heard was knowing your audience and creating a speech that's interesting to them. And it's about something that's interesting to them. Great. Anybody else? I see Elisa's hand again. I see someone in the back with a hand up.
You really need to know the material you're speaking on.
Thank you. Yes. And how does that happen? Kaya, can you go back? And so how do you know the material?
I think you really need to choose a topic you're interested on if you can, and really just like search up resources, get like stuff from people you know if they know about that subject, like really study it.
So research.
Yeah.
So make it something that you care about and do your research. Excellent. Thank you. Charlotte?
And connecting it with things people really care about.
Thank you. So it's not just interesting to the speaker, it's interesting to the audience too. Yeah. Sorry, because we don't have all the name tags today, I don't know all your names.
To give reasons why your topic is like good and to convince people what you're trying to convince them.
Excellent. Reasons why your topic is, did you say good? 3 reasons probably is a good number. Excellent. Any other ideas? Okay, you guys just taught the lesson. I'm done. You guys, you know it all. It's amazing. It's just a matter of practicing. You all have all these great ideas. It's exactly what we're gonna go through today. Okay. In spite of all of this information that you already know, it is true. 77% of the population has some kind of anxiety about speaking in public. Why are people afraid? Why do people have anxiety about speaking in public? That's the hand I saw first. Microphone.
They're like afraid like to make a mistake and everyone's like laughing at them or something. They're like all afraid of that.
Being afraid of making a mistake, being embarrassed. Ellie?
Kind of the same of what she just said, or like forgetting something.
So that's all about kind of being unprepared, right? Yeah. Hands over here. Go ahead.
So it's even worse when you're talking in front of people that you like know, because one, people are probably nervous because it's easier to identify the things you do wrong than the things you do right. And also, if you're doing it in front of someone you know, you might think like, oh, they'll think of me differently if I mess up or like this, that. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's all about being embarrassed, making a mistake, possibly, right? Does anyone know of a way to prevent that from happening?
Like taking deep breaths before you talk.
Yes, that's a great way. That's one way to calm yourself. Any other ways that you might prevent yourself from getting really afraid of being embarrassed? Emily?
Make sure that everything's ready before you do it.
Being prepared. Yes. Muskan?
Probably by making a speech, because then you'll know that you have like something to read from, so you won't forget about it.
Yeah. Yes. That's all part of preparation. Yeah, go ahead.
Another way is you can write down a script and practice in bigger audiences like your parents and your friends and your class. And then you'll probably be more ready and less embarrassed because you've done it so many times.
Thank you. Practice, 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 practice. Oh gosh, sorry, I'm looking this way and there's so many hands over here. There are 2 hands here and Genevieve had her hand up.
Some people they bring the paper that has the speech written on it, and so they'll like if they forget something, they can quickly like look at the word that they forgot, and yeah.
Do you see what I'm doing here? I mean, you probably did because I'm not very subtle about it, but the presentation is here and my notes are here, kind of hiding behind the podium. Yeah, exactly. Bringing notes. Thank you. Genevieve, did you have something?
Yeah. Oh, okay. I was gonna say that you can't think about what other people are gonna think about you because it will only make you like more stressed and that stuff. So you have to just keep your mind on the presentation and not stress about it before it happens. And yeah, that's what I recommend.
Do you have a strategy for that?
No.
Okay, let's keep that in the parking lot. Elise, I've seen your hand up for a long time here.
Usually, so what I sometimes do is like I kind of like practice myself in my bedroom, and then when it actually comes, I like pretend I'm in my bedroom just saying it to myself, and because it's just like so natural, I do it almost every night.
Does that feel like muscle memory?
Yeah, basically. So like it almost is like I'm not saying it, like my brain's saying it, and I'm just standing there.
Because you've done it so many times.
Yeah.
How many times do you practice before the real thing?
Like when I have it ready, I try to do it like every night. So I have to do it with my mom.
How many times? Do you know?
A lot,
Until you lose count, maybe?
pretty much.
Yeah. Thank you. Charlie, you have another idea?
Like if you're nervous, just pretend the audience isn't even there at all. Just seem like maybe do like practice like you're really there. Just act like you're at home practicing and there's no one watching at all.
Thank you. These are amazing suggestions. Thank you. So even though 77% of people have some sort of fear of public speaking, they say that 10% love speaking in front of people. And 10% are totally terrified of speaking in public. But then that leaves 80%. 80% of people who sort of fall in the middle somewhere. I bet some of you really love speaking in public. Is that right? Yeah, that's probably why you're here. And then maybe some of you are terrified of it, and that's also why you're here. I used to be terrified of it too. We're gonna hear from a couple of mentors just now, and if Avni, let's see, because of the math, Avni is going to lead us in an activity where we're going to watch 2 mentors speaking. You guys remember Avni? She's been in front of us a number of times this year. I'm not going to repeat all of the amazing things, all of the amazing qualifications for Avni holding the microphone, but suffice it to say that we're in good hands, and over to you, Avni. But it needs to be one of the other microphones. Yeah. Okay.
Hi, everybody. Is this open?
To be right up, I think.
Hi, everyone. I'm Avni, and right now we're gonna have a quick public speaking lesson. So if Aditi and Savannah would like to come up. Aditi
is a junior at Ridgefield High School. She's the co-president of Youth Against Cancer Society and a member of her school's debate teams. And she loves reading, writing, and playing the piano. So come on up, I guess. Oh, Savannah's over here. Hi. Savannah is a sophomore at Wilton High School. And she volunteers at Stay at Home Wilton and loves to dance, play soccer, and the violin. So right now they're gonna give you 2 demos of the same speech, and Savannah's gonna show you what a good model of public speaking should look like, and then Aditi is going to demonstrate what not to do. So.
If you guys jump up on the stage and then Gopika can see you and hear you.
Okay.
And we gotta spin her around so she can see everybody else.
Should we turn off the lights?
I think you go first.
Yeah, okay. So I'll start by giving you guys an example of how not to give a speech. So let's get started. I've actually never thought about myself as powerful. I mean, strong, yes, but powerful, not. It's a distinction I've never actually been thinking a lot about lately because the word power and its counterpart, abuse of power, keeps coming up in light of what's happening in our country. Rebalancing of the scales, I guess you could say. I've been thinking about my own relationship with that word, with the word power, which got me thinking about my early association. From my early associations with my own sense of power. It is something I believe comes from using our voice. And I remember a parental figure saying to me around the rather critical age of about 11, after a dinner party, that I was excused from the table because I didn't have anything interesting to add to the conversation. Ouch, and it stuck with me like painfully worded sentences can. So I carried that sentence with me into adulthood. I always felt incredibly comfortable giving a voice to the words of others, but put me back at a dinner table with strangers or at a podium like this. And I go right back to being 11 years old. These last 2 years have made me think a lot about the messages that we can send. Girls, especially how the things that we say and do can either build them up or it can like tear them down and like make them feel like maybe their voices don't like matter. Every child like deserves to know that they're seen, they're powerful, and like they're loved, and that they like deserve a seat at like the table. And like anything they have to say or like any question they have to ask is of value, like even if we don't have all the answers for it.
Please do that a little.
Yeah, sure. Okay, thank you, Aditi, for that fabulous example. Does anyone have any ideas of what Aditi did that maybe wasn't the best idea?
Yeah. She was not using a microphone, but she was kind of like talking with her like legs, I said like.
Yeah, that's definitely important. If you have a microphone, you need to be able to use it properly.
She was sometimes at times she put the paper over her face so we couldn't see her. She didn't really seem prepared at all. She kept saying like, yep. She kept banging her. Well, I think she was sort of nervous-ish maybe.
Yep. She kept using the paper pretend to take
Yeah, playing with the paper can definitely be distracting.
She was always looking around and always just putting a speech in her face and reading it straight off. She kind of like whispered, so I couldn't really hear her that well. She kept on walking back and forth. She was she never took her eyes off of it unless she was like looking around. And also, each time she was pausing, like she was like reading and pausing.
Yeah.
She kept saying and she, like I couldn't really understand.
Yeah.
She sort of kept skipping over words and coming back to them.
Yeah.
She was reading really fast.
No.
Yeah. She was like,
You guys did a really good job of really dissecting that. Did any of you find that speech engaging at all? Were you interested? At all?
It was funny.
It was funny, but. Okay, so now that we've seen that, Savannah's gonna show us an example of what you should be doing in this speech.
Hi, everyone. I've never actually thought about myself as powerful. I mean, strong, yes, but powerful, not so much. It's a distinction I've actually been thinking a lot about lately because the word power and its counterpart. Abuse of power kept coming up in light of what's happening in our country. A rebalancing of the scales, I guess you could say. I've been thinking about my own relationship with that word, with the word power, which got me thinking about my early associations. From my early association with my own sense of power. It's something I believe comes from using our voice. And I remembered a parental figure saying to me around the rather critical age of 11, after a dinner party, that I was excused from the table because I didn't have anything interesting to add to the conversation. Ouch. It stuck with me like painfully worded sentences can. So I carried that sentence with me into adulthood. I always felt incredibly comfortable giving a voice to the words of others, but put me at a dinner table with strangers or at a podium like this, and I go right back to being 11 years old. The last 2 years have made me think a lot about the messages that we send girls, especially how the things that we say and do can either build them up or can tear them down and make them feel like maybe their voices don't matter. Every child deserves to know that they are seen, that they are powerful, and that they are loved, and that they deserve a seat at the table, and that anything they have to say or any question they have to ask is of value, even if we don't have all the answers for it.
Okay, thank you for that, Savannah. Did you guys find that speech more engaging and more interesting?
Yes.
Okay, how come? What do you think Savannah did really well?
Eye contact was.
She did.
She didn't say a lot of ums.
Yeah.
She didn't pace like she did.
Yeah.
She spoke clearly. She when she spoke, it was very like actually with confidence in her voice, and I understood it better than I understood the speech that she said. She made her message more clear and made she made it more intriguing. We used a microphone and we had a drum here. She didn't go.
How did she hold the paper?
Now that lower, I'm only like 7
Doctor?
She kept glancing back at the audience and like so like I felt much like that was also engaging that she was like she wasn't playing around with the microphone.
Yep, so anyone else? So all of those factors definitely made Savannah's speech a lot more engaging. So, yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay. Good, you can do it up here, down here. Okay, so you guys seem to already know all this stuff, considering how well you analyzed both speeches, but we're gonna go through it anyways. One thing that's really important for public speaking is your body language and your posture and what you're doing with your hands. So does anyone have any ideas as to what might be good and bad to do with your body language? Yeah.
Also like
Yeah, you definitely want to look like you're paying more attention to your audience. Yeah.
Calling out there like making distracting like movements. Use the microphone correctly.
Yep, that is a big one. Doctor?
Like you should like go like this. You should like actually try to.
Yeah.
Also, if you're like not wearing like and you should like smile
Yeah.
not look like a.
Yeah, so you definitely want to look engaged. If you want to engage your audience, you have to look like you're happy to be up there. You have to look like you're actually excited to be up there and presenting to them. And that's how you really feel your audience. Okay, eye contact. Why might making eye contact be important?
Like obviously engage
Yeah.
otherwise for the audience, it seems like you're just doing out playing and all when you always look at the paper, you find the
So when you guys say your answers, I would love it if you stood up and really project this, because I don't do this.
Okay, yeah, eye contact is really important, both to like show your confidence and also to make sure your audience knows you're talking to them instead of your paper, right? Even if you have a speech brought up with you, you want to keep looking at your audience to make sure they're really engaged. Okay, voice projection, why might that be important?
Yes, because you want everyone to hear you, because if they can't hear you, they won't really understand you, and they won't know what you're talking about. They hear some parts of it, and just they don't hear the rest.
Yeah.
You're talking like, you're like quiet, and you're really kind of scary, nobody's interested, and like, you're not even paying attention.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure your audience is engaged. They have to be able to hear what you're saying. Okay, knowing your speech. Why is that important and why would that reduce your nervousness? Yes,
You got it. Okay. Who has the other one?
I do.
I do, so that, but there should be one more. Right?
No,
No.
the other one's on the podium.
All right, Sam. Sam,
Okay,
you are
Emily's
on
gonna go up
duty.
to here, so we have another one. Okay.
Yeah, that's
You can
great.
move down.
And then pull it nice and close so that everybody can get microphone
I know, it's
time.
fixed. Okay,
And Sam, you're gonna be busy.
okay.
Okay. Continue on. Yes.
Knowing your speech is important because if you know it, you won't be nervous, which reduces anxiety.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have you stand up when you go to speak. I'm sorry, I am like so demanding.
I'm using my own microphone if I want to. And also, if you know your speech, you're prepared. So, like, I'm in a play right now, and I know my lines. So if I know my lines, I won't mess up my lines.
Yeah.
The end.
It makes you feel better about what you're saying, and it'll help you remember and make you feel better about something.
Yeah, those are all definitely very important things. If you know your speech, you know what you're talking about, and that means you're focusing more on your audience instead of being nervous about maybe how you're delivering it. Okay. So be authentic. You want to know what you're talking about. Why is that so important?
It kind of goes along with knowing your speech. You like, it's not brand new to you, and you probably, with knowing your topic, you probably have an idea of like what you're gonna say, and you probably feel passionate about that.
Yep, that's definitely very important. If you know what you're talking about, you're going to be less nervous and you're going to be a more engaging speaker as well. So telling a good story. So why is it so important to really create a story with your speech or your presentation?
So you have something that the audience So when you tell a certain audience agrees with you, and they you should tell a good story because like you want the audience to like be like interactive, you want them to like enjoy it. Like, yeah. It's gonna help you make the audience more engaged and also back up your statement.
Yeah, storytelling is a really good strategy to draw your audience in and make whatever you're saying a lot more impactful to them. Evidence to back up your argument, at least 3 different facts. Why is evidence so important? And why is it important that you have multiple pieces of it? Yeah.
Well, I've been studying this in writing because it's the unit that we're on, but, oh yeah, it's important because in evidence, people might be asking, why should I believe you, or why is your information true, or whatever, and you need to support your information that you have, or else it just might not be believable for the people, and you also need good sources, yeah.
Like you said, it might not be believable. Like you could say, I like penguins. And everyone goes, but why do you like
Because otherwise, you're kind of like, it could be like you're making it up or like it's all opinion. When you have to like have some like facts to it and why it matters.
Yeah, evidence is definitely really important. So people know that what you're talking about is true. They know that you're not just making random things up and feeding them lies, essentially. Can't feed your audience lies. Pace yourself. Why is pacing yourself important?
So you can understand what you're saying. Instead of not going so fast, they like can understand you or might get confused with what you're saying.
So you don't get off topic and you can keep, everything you want to do.
Yeah, those are all true. When you're pacing yourself, you're making sure your audience can understand what you're saying. And it can also help you feel more confident. If you don't feel rushed, you're going to remember your information more accurately and be able to present it better. And feel confident about how you look. Why is your appearance maybe so important?
Have you times when you're wearing or like you like do the way your hair is or something, you feel confident. And if I really like the outfit or something, it makes you feel more confident.
So something like uncomfortable, something you don't like feel comfortable people saying anyway, you can articulate. Cause like people can feel like if you're like looking, I don't know, like goofy to say, people might not be able to like take you seriously and it's like all they focus on. But if you kind of like do everything else that's up there, that's not really gonna matter. You should probably know that. If you don't feel confident, then you probably speak in a quiet voice, nobody will hear you. And also, if people are looking down, no one will actually engage.
Yeah, definitely. When you look good, then it helps you feel confident in yourself and it makes you feel like you can really do this. And it also means that your audience is going to take you more seriously and believe what you say more. And make yourself more comfortable. Why is this important? And what are some strategies that you can think of to help yourself feel more comfortable? Yeah.
It matters because if you're not comfortable, you're not going to be able to like focus on what you're doing and like what you're trying to achieve basically. And like a strategy to like help that is kind of like pretending that you're not there and just like going somewhere you feel comfortable.
Important to make yourself comfortable because if you don't, you could just start to get nervous and you won't really speak the speech right. So the audience might think, why should she lead us if she can't speak? A way to make yourself more comfortable is maybe get there a little bit early and practice with your friends in the audience out there. And then when you do it, you pretend like it's just you speaking alone, like it's practice.
you should feel more comfortable because if he does, you're likely to make a mistake. And a way to solve that is like practicing being proud. Like first you used to do like only like 2 to 3 people, and then just do like 15 to 20 people, and then you yeah. School, I read this book, and it was about this girl named Jill, and she wanted to be elected class president, and she was really nervous, so she just pretended that she was talking to her friends and not anyone else, just her friends, so the people who know.
Yeah, those are all really great strategies, and make sure to remember them because you can use them in your campaigns for Miss President. And I think that's it. So, good luck in your public speaking careers.
Thank you, Robbie.
Genevieve?
Ladies. So now that we've gone through all the techniques and thought about the techniques, I want you especially to focus on voice. So you guys have seen this lady before, right?
Yes.
Yeah. She has one of the most famous voices and presences behind a microphone of any woman alive. This is a little clip that I'm going to show you of a video, of her at an awards ceremony. She was being given an award as a woman in power. And she has founded a school for girls in South Africa that's a leadership academy for girls. And she's talking about her experience doing that. If you want to see the rest of the speech, we can send you the link so you can watch it at home. But right now, just listen to her voice and see what you like about it and what makes the way she speaks powerful.
I have always known this about celebrity. The real power of being somebody that somebody knows. And I really think that the only difference between being famous and not is that more people know your name. So the only difference between understanding that is understanding that what Selma has done, what Susan has done, what Anna has done, Rebecca has done, what Jim has done, what I've done, you too can do. Because true philanthropy comes from living from the heart of yourself and giving what you have been given. How will you do that? How will you use your personality, the energy of your personality, to serve that which is your soul's calling? I know this for sure. Any life, no matter how fantastic it is, how glorious it seems, how much attention you receive, how much square footage you have, any life and every life is enhanced by the sharing and the giving and the opening up of the heart space. Your life gets better when you can find a way to share it with someone else. So what we've done, you can do. The real empowerment comes when every person leaves this room and makes a decision. Maybe that decision is that you will write a check and support some of the wonderful organizations you've heard here today. But the true decision is, how will you use yourself? How will you use everything that you have been given to serve that which is greater than yourself? How will you use that to become truly authentic?
So what did she do? What techniques did she use that made her message powerful?
Made sure everyone heard her.
She made sure everyone heard her.
She didn't just like walk around and but not let everyone see her face, anything like that.
She didn't walk around and she wasn't hiding behind anything. She did use something though, right? She used the podium. She used it as sort of a prop and made it more interesting by, she showed that she looked comfortable, right? She felt comfortable and at ease up there. Over here. She has her.
She used hand motion.
She used hand motion. And they weren't shaking, right? The back table?
She spoke with confidence. She spoke with confidence, and when she spoke, the wording she chose really just inspired other people that can make a difference.
Her word choice is inspiring. Yes. Two more, and then we have to move on because we have activities to get to. Is there anyone who hasn't spoken yet? No?
It felt like she was having a conversation with you, and she was really connecting to people she was talking to.
She did. Even on video, it felt like she was having a conversation with us.
It looks like she had practiced and she knew what she was going to say, and she probably brainstormed the effect she wanted it to have on people she was talking to.
Yes, she thought about what the impact of the words were going to be, and she practiced. Okay, we need to move on because we have lots of stuff still to do. Sorry.
I have always,
No. Okay. So apparently 90% of the anxiety we feel before we make a presentation is because we're not prepared. So there's a simple solution to that. Practicing, right? And also, if you look at this chart, do you see how important is content versus your voice? Right? Because think back to the demonstrations the mentors did. The content was exactly the same for the two of them. And the first one, you lost, it went straight over our heads, right? But it was all about the voice and the nonverbal communication that Savannah was using that made her version of it effective. You know what, I'm gonna skip this one. Because we don't have time. Do you guys have questions about any of these public speaking techniques or anything before we move on? Emily? You can just stand up.
Well, I comment, but for my writing class, my teacher, when we read our poems and stuff like that, she has us use the PD writing.
She has you use the what?
PD writing, called voice, like, you know, and like all the major things that you need. Like she has us use TV Lives, which is like the main things that you use when you're public speaking. Like, so yeah, like voice, all.
Poise, which is your body language, right? Voice, your projection. Do you remember what the other ones are?
I don't remember the L.
What's the L?
I think
Language.
I think so, and then eye contact, and then gestures, and then your sound.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. Kelly?
Also, something similar to what Emily did at our school where before COVID, when like a few people from each class, we meet in like the hallway, there's like a big area, and a bunch of people from each class would present a work they're really proud of in front of the whole school, and I did that.
We had a whole bunch of other slides that we were gonna go through, but I think the content of them we can share with you by email so that we can get to our activity, because otherwise we're just not gonna have time. So I'm gonna quickly flip through. Sorry, you'll get all these later, but notice she's practicing with her dog. That's great.
I have 2 dogs.
They're perfect for practicing. So the election is going to be on Sunday, the 27th. That gives us how many days to prepare? 23 days?
More than 3 weeks.
3 weeks. So we know the drill, right? Each town will have its own Miss President US. You have 3 minutes to speak. You can include PowerPoints, videos, Google Slides, but we need to have them ahead of time so that we can make sure that we have everything, right? So the platform, your first draft is due by the 13th. And your final campaign deck, like what you're going to be presenting, is due on the 20th. We're going to try and have a dress rehearsal ahead of time, but we have to finalize the details. And then who can vote? Anyone who's 8 years old. If you're 8 years old, you can vote. And if you've RSVP'd, we'll give you a login and you can vote. But the really important thing that we don't often say to you guys is it's important to get out the vote, because you're only going to get votes for the people who you've told to come or spread the word about, and the people you managed to convince on the spot that you should be winning the election, right? So the more you can spread the word and get people to attend, the more likely you are to get their vote. Okay. Alex?
Can you like talk about it at school and like advertise ourselves?
For sure. We'll be sending you information about like an invitation for people, right? And you can share that with friends, family, school, your class. Are there questions about the election? Okay.
Well, is this just is it just us voting, or are there more people welcome?
Anyone who attends the election, so friends, family, neighbors, babysitters, I don't know, your dog cannot vote. It has to be a human who attends the election. Yeah. Are there questions over here too?
So when you ask like people to vote, can they vote for like more than one person?
You can vote for one person per town. However, we're trying to do something new this year called ranked choice voting. Some of you may have heard of ranked choice voting. In ranked choice voting, if say there are 3 candidates, then you put them in your order of preference. So you give number 1 choice, number 2 choice, number 3 choice. That way, it's more fair. And it's less of a popularity contest, because then everyone is going to give sort of the majority opinion of how it works. We could show you a video. Actually, we'll send you a video about ranked choice voting so you can understand how it works. But anyway, one person per town. Okay, everyone who is running, who has already declared their teams or their campaign team, is listed on the yellow sheets here. We're going to be breaking up to practice these campaign speeches if you have them. If not, we have speeches you can use just to practice with. And mentors, if you would, today we're going to be practicing with a mentor, but if you also would like a mentor to help you with your campaign, now is the time to say, yes, please. I would really love some assistance with that. Is that your question? You have another question?
So, I only have one person to be in my group. Like, I only have a vice president. How would I get any like other people?
Excellent. If anyone here is looking to join a campaign team and they prefer a different role than president or vice president, it seems there is availability. There is also availability with other teams on the wall here. So today is a great time to join forces. That's why we're all here together in the same room, instead of being broken up in 2 different chapters.
Do we want to say that if you would like to be part of somebody else's team, come up front when you're ready to do the.
When we break up into teams, find a team that needs another participant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe when we do the group photo.
Yeah.
And also, if you see this list and you're like, dang, I haven't declared I want to be president yet, but now I do, there are blanks. So just put your name up there. We'll get you, if you want a team, you get a team, mentor, etc. So just peruse that, might give you some ideas.
Okay, last question, and then we're gonna break up into our groups. Did you have a question? No, okay. All right, so. We're going to break up into our teams. So each group, each campaign group, say you're running for president and you have 3 other people on your team, great. Say you know you want to be president, you don't have anybody else yet, that's fine too. We're going to go off with a mentor, and you can take your microphone with you. And if you have a speech, great. If you don't have a speech yet, we have 3 different speeches you can practice with. And we'd like you to find different areas of the room with your mentors to practice the speech. The first time when you first look at the speech, read through it. It doesn't make any sense to get behind a microphone if you haven't seen the words yet, right? Read through it, get comfortable with the text. And then the mentors will record you if you're comfortable, practicing in front of the camera and seeing how it goes, right? And if you'd like to analyze your own presentation to see, am I wiggling? I don't know if I'm wiggling. How does my hair look? Does it look okay? You can see what it looks like on the camera, okay? Yes, if you haven't made a mic, you can share because you're only gonna go one at a time. And what would be great is if you could watch the other girls in your group as they're presenting, as they're reading their speech, and see how are they doing, and be supportive. Tell them what they're doing really well, right? You can be a really positive audience for each other. Okay, so we can break up into our groups now.
So how do we want to, can we take a group photo first?
Okay.
Because I don't want to forget the group photo business.
Some people on the stage.
Natalia, where is Natalia?
I would not have. She made a really good.
I
Don't
can
you
have
think
one.
it's orange in a pen? Why is there an orange? Why is it? Because it is. You like my speech?
I just did it all the edges there.
Oh, you want a cookie wrapper? Oh my god. It's holding orange.
You're so like, I'm so lost.
I will put it on my. Right there. Hello, where are you?
Okay. You guys look like you're.
Hello.
Fantastic.
Are you pen?
You look fantastic. Evelyn, I can't see you. Come up front. Right here.
You're a teeny child.
Ellie, I need you up front. Hold on 1 minute. We're just kind of reorganizing.
I'm just gonna fit. I
All
can
right.
take the orange on Georgia. Don't take the orange on Georgia.
I'll be like this. And then I can see. Right there. Right, like, I want to be able to see this, I want to see you. This is like high style.
Hello, Georgia, let's go to school. I can't put this in my backpack. Should I be care? Should I be like this? Or should I be like well, no, do it scroll. Scroll, but not. I'll write it for you. No, Georgia. It can be used as a lethal weapon. No!
You don't mind, do you?
Now I don't know why. That's my vice president. Okay, take the orange off now to Jabber. She's my vice president.
Oh,
No.
All right,
Drop it,
everybody,
drop it,
look
drop it.
forward and let's say, hooray. All right?
Good. Good.